Hi, my name is Talina Jeans, and I would like to tell you a little bit about me. Where are you from? It is one of the most common questions that we ask in our society. But what if you don't know? I was adopted when I was 19 days old. I'm 28 now, and but before I was adopted, I was in foster care. My adopted parents couldn't biologically have children, so they decided to use an agency in my hometown to adopt. They filed paperwork for 2 months, and a couple of adoptions fell through. And on the third attempt, they got to connect with me. My adopted parents were in an interracial relationship. My mom was white, my father was black. I didn't notice that was different or abnormal. I think I obviously noticed the obvious, that we were different races, but I didn't think of it as anything other than normal or anything other than my life. It wasn't until it was pointed out to me by bullying and by other kids at school, so when I was around 6 years old, that it was different. I was labeled an Oreo growing up, meaning someone who looks black on the outside but acts white on the inside. And this caused a lot of confusion for me as an adult or as a child, that led me to believe that I was wrong. I didn't know how to bridge the gap of who I was and the fact that I was adopted and how that affected me was okay. And probably until I was leaving college. Adoption shaped my view of family. Being adopted was essential into me broadening my scope of who my family was and who I brought in to my circle. I believe that blood isn't thicker than water. I actually think that love is what binds you, not just blood. I also think that being adopted has taught me that I can appreciate complexity and nuance in people's stories more than the typical average person. I think the complexity and nuance in my story allowed me to be familiar with the unfamiliar stories. I tend to not assume what people's parents look like or where they come from. I tend to not assume that all people's families look the same. I assume that when someone talks about their family, that could also mean their chosen family that has chosen them, or their biological family. I also think that adoption has affected me, being that me and my husband want to adopt kids. And according to adoptuskids.org, there's currently 400,000 children in the foster care system in the US right now, and 100,000 of those kids are waiting to be adopted. And in our fractured world, with all that is going on, socioeconomically, globally, in the US and outside of the US, in faith-based spaces and not, in schools, in the justice system, basically every sector that has been affected, that weighs the emotional weight of good and bad. I believe that adoption could be the balm to help people mend those lives together and to help people be one. So in summary, adoption has been probably the most significant moment of my life that I don't even remember. And it has shaped how I viewed myself and how I view other people. So it's been a pleasure to share about myself.